What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So in this one, we're going to be talking about a very interesting situation that has just unfolded with the overall market. Now, we have just breached new 52-week lows, and as we've been saying, the market has not reached a bottom yet. We have still most likely a long way to go. We have seen really no indications as to what the light at the end of the tunnel is most likely going to be, and we are starting to see a very key market starting to have some pretty significant issues, which we need to go over in this update here so that you guys are prepared for everything that is to come. So again, guys, before we get into all of that information, if you do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who do want to learn. So let's get right into the chart here and give us an indication of how is the market actually doing today. Well, when you're looking at the SPY on the daily time frame here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now 6 at the current time that I'm recording this video, days of red. Now that previous level right around that 362 mark has been slipped today, and we have breached new day or new 52-week lows. So what we've been talking about in the market here for a lot of you guys who are trying to take on these short-term trades is that there is an opportunity for these very, very short relief bounces, and that's what we've seen over the last 2 trading days here. These short bounces in the morning, and today it was in the pre-market trading session, and then a significant sell-off. Yesterday, we saw that little bit of a rally up and then a significant sell-off. What does this tell us? Well, what it tells us about the overall market right now is that the buyers that are coming in are just getting dumped on. These buyers that you see at the end of the day, like especially right now, they're buying in, and then the next couple of days, we just make these new lows. There's not a lot of long sustained buying pressure in this market right now. And the main reason for that is, well, we know that there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and the Fed is completely asleep at the wheel. Now, again, if you want to be able to take advantage of a lot of these short-term moves in the market, make sure you check out that link down below. It's the best place to come and learn how to trade. Our community is growing very fast with a lot of unbelievably successful traders, and our trading algorithms are doing phenomenal. Trader Joe is up about 39% at the current time that I'm recording this video. And again, with the emotional aspect of trading, having these algorithms able to guide you through these market moves takes everything to the next level and makes you an absolute killer in the market. So make sure you guys check that link out down below if you guys are interested. But looking at the dollar here, we are finally starting to see the dollar slip a little bit on this 5-minute time frame here, but on the 4-hour, just like we were talking about, we saw that retest of the 13 EMA and then a push higher. With the Fed continuing to raise interest rates here, there is really no sign that in the near future, the dollar is really going to come back to a reasonable level. Now, again, when you look at the 10-year Treasury yield as well, this is on the monthly time frame here. The 10-year Treasury is at about 3.957%. That is the yield of the 10-year Treasury bonds that the U.S. government is issuing. Now, we haven't seen the 10-year Treasury yield this high since, well, back in 2010. And when you think about that concept of TINA, there is no alternative that we've been talking about on this channel a lot, and it is a concept that you need to understand, and I have not heard anybody else talking about this, is that right now in the market, there is an alternative to putting your money into stocks, into equities. Now, what that essentially does, for those of you guys that are still confused, is, well, if you were to see a lot of money, let's say that there was X amount of dollars out there in the system to go into investments. Now, if bonds are no longer, or were no longer offering you an attractive yield, then all of that money is then just going to flow into the equity or real estate market. Now, with bond yields this high, you can see some of that pile of money go into bonds, taking demand away from the equity market, making it even harder for stocks to rise in the short term. Now, we need to talk about this situation that is now over, because this is a really important concept here and something that we've been talking about that was going to happen that is finally starting to kind of show its head here. So looking at this article here, the housing bubble has officially burst. Case-Shiller reports Case-Shiller records the first drop in home prices since 2012. Analysts expected the Case-Shiller home price growth to continue its modest deceleration in August, the latest available data in this heavily lagged and smooth data set, but the result was a doozy. The 20-city composite index tumbled 0.44% month over month, far below the 0.2% expected increase, and a sharp decline from the downward revised 0.19% increase in July. More importantly, this was the first sequential drop in home prices tracked by Case-Shiller since March 2012, or 10 and a half years ago. So, when you think about where the federal funds rate has been over the last 10 years and mortgage rates have been going and trending over the last 10 years here, when you see the Fed starting to raise interest rates, well, mortgage costs go up, you're going to see a higher mortgage payment, and you're no longer able to qualify for the same amount of a loan. Now, what that ends up causing is, well, home prices are going to decrease to meet the new demand at these lower price points and get away from that lower amount of demand at the price points that these houses and homes were priced at by the market previously. Now, how does this affect everything else? Well, real estate is a lagging market here. So when you think about real estate and the transactions that are going to occur, well, it's going to take a little bit longer for real estate transactions to go through. In the stock market, if I wanted to sell or buy stocks, I could go do that right now. But for real estate, it's going to take a little bit longer. And that's why we've seen the delay in these home prices starting to come down. Now, with the Fed continuously raising these interest rates here, the 10-year Treasury continuing to spike, well, mortgage rates are going to continue to climb higher. Demand for homes is actually going to start to slip here a little bit. And you're going to see these home prices continue to come down. So this is another market that is going to be taking some pretty significant hits in the near future. Now, we haven't talked about this situation over here in a little bit, but we have to bring up this concept of oil and OPEC. Yesterday, as oil prices were tumbling to fresh 2022 lows, despite a major hot war taking place and collapsing energy capital expenditures, which virtually assures a crippling energy crisis within the next 5 to 10 years, we asked if OPEC Plus would wait until tomorrow to drop the output hammer, or will they go today? Well, they waited until tomorrow because moments ago, Reuters reported that following recent media reports that Saudi Arabia and Russia will likely cut output if Brent drops below $90. OPEC Plus dropped the trial balloon of what comes next. Russia will likely propose OPEC Plus reduces output by around 1 million BPD at the next meeting, source familiar with Russian thinking. Now, what does this actually mean? Well, if they're cutting output, they are cutting supply out to the overall market. Now, as we're getting into October, November, these colder months, if there's already a limited supply of oil out in the market right now due to a lot of this Russia and Ukraine conflict going on right now, well, lowering the supply even further is going to drastically increase the price of oil here. So this is another situation that you need to look out for. And again, when we're thinking about the overall market right now, there's a couple of things that you need to keep in mind about the news that is going to come out and when big institutional money is going to start stepping back in. Well, you need to see that light at the end of the tunnel. Now, the problem that the Fed has right now is that if we start to rapidly see the light at the end of the tunnel, meaning that inflation starts to come down, unemployment starts to go up, and you also see growth drastically increasing very rapidly, the acceleration down of those data points as charted out on a lot of those different platforms that are showcasing you the data, if you see that nosedive, that is a giant problem, because when you think about what the Fed is doing with their Fed funds rates, well, it's all lagging. All of the data that the Fed is looking at is lagging. So if you start to see this data really start to come down quickly, well, it's most likely going to continue to come down and we go into that deflationary period. That's why I've been saying specifically in those live streams every single day that I do with you guys, that the Fed right now is playing a game of operation with the United States economy. They need to thread the needle so carefully and not hit any of the corners, or else we're in for even more sort of disaster in the overall economy. So that is mainly going to wrap up this update for today, everybody. Remember, Late Night Fix is going to be back tonight. If you did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys do want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, everyone. I'll see you in the next one, or tonight in the live stream. Peace.